Hey, my beautiful butterflies. Come on in the building. Got something to talk about this morning. Another one bites the dust. Mm-hmm. Soon as I get in here, I'm going to tell you who it is and why he bit the dust. Mm-hmm. I'm going to take care of this while y'all coming in. And in the meantime, Edward, I am going to be taking your gift as soon as I get off this live. It's a beautiful day. I read that the storm hit somewhere down in Mexico and it came through and it hit about 90 miles. That'll be north of Houston in the Bellevue area. It missed us completely. So I thank God for that. It wasn't but like a few deaths in Mexico. I think two small children who were riding a bicycle got electrocuted and one person. So we thank God for that. That not a lot of people lost their properties and homes and stuff. Only a few houses were lost. And so we got that to be thankful for. Okay. Hey, Miss Joy, how you doing? Good morning to you. Come on in the building, everybody. Let's talk about it. We're gonna be chatting this morning about. Hey, Tasha. Morning, Nisa Pooh. How you doing? In the safe zone. Good morning. How you doing? Um, Miss Gail. Good morning. Okay, let me get to it. Make sure all these phones are down, so I won't be getting these phone calls. Well, I'm gonna get them. I don't want them to disturb me. You know, it always happens like that. Anyway, good morning to everybody who came in. So y'all know, I told you about the storm and everything. It's a beautiful day here in the city. So I'm gonna get out and about and mail my 7K gift to Mr. Edward, who won the gift over here the other night. Also, the head wraps are from Tanya Trainer. She's over on Facebook. Love my knots. I did not put her information out on my community wall, but how to get in touch with her. I have her email address and her Cash App. So I'm gonna put all that information out there on my community wall. And if you would like to get you one, you are more than welcome to go out there and contact Miss Tanya Trainer. Okay. So let me get my specs on and let's get busy here. Hopefully y'all have rang the doorbell when you came in. I know you did. So I'm not going to concentrate on that. I have super stickers, super thanks, super chats, super everything over here. Cash app, whatever you want to donate to the channel, that's up to you and it is greatly appreciated. Okay, let's get busy. So today, my topic was another one bites the dust. So this is a long standing debacle. It's the best word I can come up with a Texas mega church. Good morning, McCarla. So it's about Trump's spiritual advisor. It's about a Texas mega church. It's a pastor who committed sin. He confessed, he repented, and he resigned. It's about molestation of a 12-year-old child who is now a grown woman. So if there's anybody coming into the chat who has suffered from molestation, this might be a little too deep for you. If it is, hit the like button for me and move on, because I don't want to offend anybody. I'm telling you what it's about so you'll know. Now, This pastor had a wife, and they asked the family for forgiveness. He also apologized to the church and the church families. The elders of the church accepted him back. Um, I have the statements that he has made. We're going to talk about the statute of limitations because this happened to a child who is now a grown adult. What do you think should happen to him in your opinion? And it ain't no bad opinion over here. It's how you feel about it. And there ain't no right and there ain't no wrong to this. You have the right over here to express your opinions. If you are a troll and you coming in here trolling, I have not seen my moderators yet, but you got to go. Okay? I don't even want your view. This ain't about you, and this ain't about your raggedy opinion. Okay? We're going to talk about inappropriate behavior that happened between 1982 and 1987. This is an over 40 adult conversation. So, with all of that being said, kick back, relax, get your favorite beverage. I got mine. I already had my coffee for the morning, so I got my water, and it's on. So, as the story goes, Trump's spiritual advisor resigns amidst allegations that he molested a 12-year-old. Now, this was his spiritual advisor when he was in the White House. Okay? He's at a Texas, told you it rained. He's at a Texas mega church here in Dallas, Texas, or was until last week. I think it was Friday when he resigned last week. But I want you to keep in mind how long this has been going on, and he's been in the pulpit of churches, and he's been a traveling minister. I said this went on from 1982. It started around there. Okay? They're giving two different dates. The victim is given her date, and then he is given his date. Although, moving on with the story, he has admitted to part of this up until last Friday. So another Texas megachurch pastor, Robert Morris, who was Donald Trump's once named spiritual advisor to his administration, announced he was stepping down from Gateway Church amidst allegations he molested a 12-year-old girl in the 1980s. Now keep in mind, this ain't the first time this ever happened, and I'm sure it won't be the last time it'll happen, because they are a man. Good morning, Miss Jackie, before anything. Okay, they are a man first, supposedly called by God, who that's the highest assignment that you can have. That's higher than the president. If they called by God. We elect officials. They elect themselves according to what they say they were told to do and take their assignment from him. So I think I put them on a higher level spiritually, all right, than politically. The resignation comes days after Morris, now 62, okay? He's now 62 years old. He's an old man. He did this in his 20s. Seemingly admitted to molesting the girl in a statement to the Christian Post. In that statement, he succeeded that he engaged in inappropriate sexual behavior. Okay? Morris has stated allegedly that he knew the family of the girl and he had lived in the house of the girl, which made it very easy if you already living in there where the child is to do inappropriate behavior. He apologized along with his wife to the family and the prior church elders who forgave him. And he took a leave of absence for 2 years and was a traveling minister. So I want you to follow what he did. And in the end, tell me how you feel. Do you think this was enough punishment? Should he be punished more? What is your opinion of this? No right or wrong. It's just your opinion. The statement came out on June 14th, 2024, last week. They didn't have all of the facts of abuse, so says the elders at that time. The board has retained a law firm to conduct an independent review of the report of the past abuse of the 12-year-old child. I think I am frozen. Okay. This event took place from 1982 through 1987, according to the victim. The elders prior, under their understanding, was that Morris had an extramarital relationship with a adult woman. Hey Daisy, how you doing? Hold on, let me see what Daisy's saying. Daisy said something about she was my fan and then she retracted the message. Okay. Anyway, the elders had the wrong understanding. You my big fan? Well, come on in, Daisy. Come on in. Hey, Ray, how you doing? Glad to see I got a moderator in here. So they discussed many times in the pulpit. He discussed it from the pulpit many times. It was no secret at the church. Hey, Miss Wanda. About the abuse, but they didn't know it was a 12-year-old. They thought it was an adult when he was up there talking about it all the time. So that is one of the reasons why I guess they forgave him so freely. All right. So this occurred many years before Gateway was established as leaders of the church. They now regret that they did not have the information that they now have at the time. Hey, Miss Aretha. Okay, let's see. That's it that came in. Happy Friday to you. The elders say they are now heartbroken and appalled and express sympathy to the victim and her family. The child, who is now an adult, stated that this abuse started on Christmas Day in 1982. So we know that was, what, nearly 40 years ago or 40 years ago? Okay. And continued until 1987. So it was years. It just wasn't one time. It was from 1982 to 1987. That's a long time. So she was actually, if this started at 12, she was a teenager, becoming an adult woman when this happened. Hey, Rena. Okay. So this continued on, and this was according to the Wild Bird Watch, a church watchdog blog, first reported her account just last Friday. The now disgraced pastor stated that he was involved in an inappropriate sexual behavior with a young lady in her home where he was staying. Still didn't say it was a child. So see, he was still lying. He admitted to some of the truth, but not all of the truth. He said that he was kissing and petting with her, but never ever mentioned sexual intercourse. That's where he went wrong. He also admitted it happened over a few years in his statement. His behavior was brought to the light in 1987. Keep in mind, hey Reba, this is 2024. So that's a long time. While he was pastor at the Shady Grove Church in Grand Prairie, which is located right outside of Dallas, Texas, which has since become a part of the Gateway Church where he is now. So he went from one church to a mega church, which has 11 locations. Hey, CC's World, content creator, Rez, content creator. Thank y'all for coming in this morning. In the safe zone, content creator. Supposedly, he confessed and repented, which we talked about repentance just the other day. The steps to repentance and how God accepts and looks at repentance. We talked about that day before yesterday. The church asked him to step out of the ministry. The first church, Shady Grove, which he did. So he states since that time, he has walked in purity and accountability in this area. Now, right there, it's vague to me. What is he talking about in this area? Is he talking about in the area of location where this happened? Hi, Corey. Good morning. God is not real. Okay, you got to go, Corey, because that ain't what we believe over here. Okay, thank you. And is he talking about the area of what he did to this child or molesting this child? So that is not quite clear to me. All right. He has a wife. He and his wife met with the survivor's family back in 1989, 2 years after this supposedly stopped. He had a wife all the time. Okay. He asked for forgiveness, and they graciously forgave him. He said, the family forgave him, but never supported him again, nor did they want him to return to the ministry. So I'm right here with this whole thing now. I haven't seen any comments as to how y'all feel about this. But it's just my opinion that the statute of limitations are probably up. You talking 40 years or more. So nothing is going to happen to him by the law. So we have to look at this truly from a spiritual standpoint of what he did. Now, it's just my opinion that I don't care anything about the statute when it comes to children being mistreated. Even though she is now grown, she reported it when she was a child. So why can't they go back and the law would treat him like they would treat anybody else who has done this? Now, I read up to see what would happen. He would spend the rest of his life in jail if the statute of limitations would not have been over. If this had been reported when she was a child, Miss Joyce says she's agreeing. And how would you feel if you were the parent of the child and this had happened to you and you're dealing with an adult grown woman who still has childhood issues that she will never get over, even though she's been in therapy? And she is just now speaking out to the public. She told her parents back when she was a child And I guess that was their way of handling it, thinking, okay, well, she gonna be all right. Okay? Because they need proof, it is hurtful, but it is the dirty law. I do agree, Miss V. Well, I don't know about the proof part because he's confessed to doing this. So that's proof enough to me in his confession. I think. See, I'm not into the law. I don't know. But just from my little layman's terms, I think once he confessed that he did do this as of last Friday, and that it wasn't an adult person that he did it to, like he had been telling the church family, and that now they know that this child is an adult now, but she was then 12, then I think, in my opinion, that's proof enough. So let's see what Carla's saying. No, let me go back up. I think it's Raina. If she reported it when she was a child, her parents did not protect her. And filing charges, it's her parents' fault. I agree with you. I personally could not have known this. It's different when you don't know. But when you do know, I would have had to file charges on him. I don't care if he's a minister or not. He's a man. And he did this to my child, my small child. So I totally agree with you on that. When it comes to children, they're not adults. And ain't no man, he was in his 20s. She was 12. That's a grown man. That child was not ready for that. And he stole her childhood youth, in my opinion. Okay? There should be no limit when it comes to children, in my opinion. Exactly, Carla. And I totally agree with you. Good morning, Queen Mary Kent. Good morning. Good morning. Okay. So I think we are all kind of agreeing that the parents kind of tripped up when they just forgave him. And they didn't really bring it public. They kept it private. The child who is now grown brought this out and told it. That's how it hit the news after all of these years. This person is now 62 years old. And you've confessed in the pulpit that you did this heinous stuff. But you didn't tell the public, the congregation, the whole truth, not even the elders of the church who forgave you and let you come back in there. Now you've been making all this money, because it's coming down to shmoneys again, from the small church to the mega church with 11 locations. You can afford to walk away now when it comes to the money part of the situation. But you still are wrong, and you got to live with that. Now, he ain't the only one. Tom Evans came out last week. Dallas again. And he didn't admit to what his stepping down or his resignation was. But it came out. So I guess you could look at this and say the truth is always going to come to the surface. It may be years later. That's why people don't need to come out here with these lying on folks and getting in other people's business, because when it does come out, it ain't going to look too good. I do not get in nobody else's business, and I do not want anybody else in mine for that reason. Stay out of it, because when you got to go before the court and the Lord and say, why did you say what you said when you had no proof of it? Things ain't going to turn out too good for you. It's just not. Alrighty, let me see. You don't understand why they didn't do anything. No, I don't understand, Joy. Why didn't the parents do something at that time when that adult child, who is an adult now, was a child at that time? She was 12 years old. No, I don't understand that. Because me, I couldn't have done that. I could have forgave him, but I still was going to press charges on him. Sure would. You can confess, but they still have to have his DNA because he can say he just confessed to anything. Yes, her parents should have been on him from the beginning, nonstop. Okay, so that's something I didn't know. I didn't know you had to have a DNA, and that is the only way. Well, see, that's their fault again because they should have taken the girl to the doctor and they would have known then that the hymen had been broken and that she had been penetrated. But I guess that didn't happen either. But how would it be like that? Don't ask me. I don't know. I wasn't there. This is the article I'm bringing to you. Okay? That came from the Christian Post, CNN, and a couple of other news reporters. I don't know. We're just discussing it because it don't make a lick of sense to me on the parents' part. I'm holding them, a lot of what I'm holding against them is their responsibility and their accountability to that child who is now an adult woman with some severe issues. And she's an old woman now. Good morning, Miss Jean. She still has to carry that burden for the rest of her life and could still be affected in many ways and probably has. I would think I would have trust issues with men. I would think that it would be hard for me to have children knowing what I went through as a child. That's just me. I'm talking about me now. That's how I would probably think about it. I don't have any clue as to what she has gone through. CC is saying this is great commentary. Queen Mary Kent, preacher, minister, pastor are just titles. Some creeps hide behind the towel and be doing the unthinkable. Jesus sees all. He may get by with man's law, but not with Jesus. Totally agree with you there. He may get by with man's law, but never Jesus. Exactly. And I got a question for y'all. Do y'all think that he will be held more accountable on Judgment Day or throughout the rest of his life because he should be in a higher standard than we are, or he'll be judged the same as any one of us? How do you feel about that? My opinion is that if you are hired by him, that I just, in my mind, think he will be held a little bit more accountable because you are the one who's supposed to be guiding the flock, guiding the sheep, preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ and his Father, God. What do you think? Joy is agreeing. Most definitely, Queen Mary. He is suffering, believe me. He should be ashamed. But you know, sometimes when people have mental illness, they're not ashamed of anything they do because their minds are gone. We don't know his state of mind at this point. We don't know why he decided to just up and resign last week. After all these years, you have carried this. But now all of a sudden, you just gonna jump up and resign? Were you forced? Or what? I also feel that he should not be able to do any ministering, pastoring, evangelism, or none of that to anybody. Look, give it up at that point. If you did something like this on your job to a child, let's say you're in a classroom and you're a teacher, you get fired and you go to jail if they can prove it, right? So why shouldn't he be fired and go to jail? This just stuff in my head, okay? Y'all are trying to explain it to me, and I'm getting the lots of what you're saying, but it just seems so wrong to me. Good morning, Miss Carolyn. How you doing? Carolyn, you read a lot. Had you read about this Dallas pastor of the mega church who molested the 12-year-old girl in her house back in the early 80s, starting in 1982, and is just confessing the truth as of last week and resigning? Hey, friend, what's up, Naptown? Okay. Queen Mary Ken is speaking to you, CC's World. Okay, let's see, where else am I? What are you saying, Tasha? That is what? Tasha, you know I can't see that little stuff. You should have spelled that out for Miss V. Miss Joyce said that's sad on her parents. Yeah, I definitely feel that way about the parents' part. Like I said, it's different. If you're a parent and you did not know, you cannot hold yourself responsible. If the child didn't come and tell you, and if you didn't know what was going on in your own home, you really can't hold a parent responsible. But in this case, the child went to the parent, they told the parent, and the parent knew, but they didn't bother to take the child and show proof. Like CC was saying, you have to have DNA, you have to be tested, and that could have happened back then, but it didn't happen. Okay, so there's two families, and then there's this wife. You mean to tell me you love this man so much, you knew what he did to this child, and you stayed there all that time, and it didn't mention if they had children. And the article didn't say that. So I don't know if they had children or not. Okay? Hey, Pepper, good morning. Hey, Mr. Edward. Mr. Edward, I'm glad you're in here. When I flipped this live off this morning, I'm headed to the post office. I did find your address and wrote it down and deleted it. Even it was in spam like I thought it would be. And I'm on my way to the post office to mail it to you. So I put a tracker on there just in case it gets lost. And I will let you know on the next live how long they say it'll be before you should receive it so you can start looking out for it, okay? Edward won the 7K giveaway over here, which was a remote car starter, okay? Someone smile. Good morning. How are you? Good morning, Kevin. Kevin is saying yes. It was troubling to me. Y'all can see. Because I do go to church. And I've been in church all my life. I've never, ever, thank God, have been under a pastor that anything like this has ever come up. I mean, I've been under leaderships of pastors where they have been asked to leave the church for other reasons, but never anything like stealing or molestation or any one of those cardinal sins like that. Okay, uh, it's really gotten to me. To whom much is given, much is required, and that is fact, Kevin. And I don't think a lot of people understand that. If you are given a lot, much is required of you to him. He gave it to you. He's requiring more of you. If you are less than and have less than, your requirements are not as much as my requirements of somebody way above me. The higher you go up the wrong, this statement is very true. To whom much is given, much is required. That is biblical. Yes. When I had nothing, when I was back at home with my mom and in college, I didn't have nothing. So not much was required of me. As I accumulated, as I elevated, more was required of me. This went on for a long time in families and no one spoke on it. Nope. Just coming to the news. Just breaking news last Friday. Yep. Now, if you were a member of that church, you knew about it. the mega church. But obviously, because the elders forgave him and because he didn't tell the truth at the time, he talked about it in the pulpit. He talked about his sin, but he led them to believe that it was a lady, not a child. So they forgave him. Okay? And then I was telling you about Pastor Tony Evans resigned last week. Again, Dallas. He did not come out and say when the first articles hit, he just said he had committed a sin. Okay? And that was the reason he felt like he should have stepped down. I don't know if you know about the history of him, but he lost his wife of cancer a couple of years back. And he remarried, which I didn't know that until all of this came out about him. So now the new articles that are coming out about him is that he was apparently going with this new wife before the prior wife with the cancer died. Okay? What you think about that? All right. This went on for far too long in families and no one spoke on it. Listen to my cousins and sisters. Now I know how many young girls were violated in families. It happened lots back then and it was hush, hush. People are more vocal about things like that now in this new age era. But yes, a lot of incest went on back in those days. A lot of stuff happened. And it was shut down. A lot of parents didn't even believe the children when the children came to them. I have a friend who's suffering today, will suffer the rest of her life because her stepfather molested her. Her mother was a minister. She didn't want to hear it. She didn't want to believe her. This girl took it all the way to the street and became the biggest drug addict out there and was a 4.0 student when we were in school. Went off to college. And that's when it hit her. Couldn't focus, couldn't do nothing because that was still traumatizing her. It took her years to get her life back on track. And she's working today when she could have been retired, but she was on them streets, living from pillar to post, from one place to another, an only child. So she didn't have even siblings to talk to. And then when she went to her mother, and her mother didn't even believe her, what was she supposed to do? And she later put him out years later when she found out he was out there on the street with other women. But the child is already messed up for life now. Yeah. We're very good friends. I know her story. This happened when she was, I guess we were like 6th grade when this happened. She told me then. I went home and told my mama. That's how her mama started doing something about it and opened up her eyes. You killing your daughter over here. This is crazy. It's some crazy stuff that go on in the world. Okay, y'all are still speaking. I'm trying to get to a comment. Joy says it was wrong. It definitely was wrong. In my opinion, it would have been wrong if she had been an adult because he had a wife at home. That's committing adultery. You a pastor. You supposed to be held in much higher esteem, and you run around here trying to preach to a mega church of folks with 11 locations. No, Ms.V, only briefly read about it on social media. Okay, Carolyn. And a beautiful good morning to you, Edward from Miss Jean. Pepper is congratulating you, Edward. I don't know if all of y'all over here know, but Edward and Reba are engaged and announced it on my channel 2 days ago. So they're going to be getting married. So congratulations are in order for Edward and Reba, who are subscribers over here. And you know, Ms.V is happy about that. I've been talking about that every day. Righty. Let's see. Rhea is saying, thank you for being here, everyone. Please take a moment to hit that thumbs up button, which is in the right hand corner. You can tap the screen twice, subscribe to the channel, and share the stream out if you have not done so. We appreciate you, and I appreciate you, Rhea. Okay. Thank you so much, my gorgeous auntie queen, chatting with Ms.V. Yes, you're welcome. You're talking about me sending you the gift. No problem. Okay. Every time I hit 1,000 over here, I always either give out money or give out a nice gift. I've given out cell phones. I've given out the tablets. Um, I can't even think of all the gifts I've given out because I gave a lot of gifts out at the 1K when I first got monetized. Because back then you had to have 1K. Now I understand it's 500. But I always give back to my subscribers and my supporters, my members over here. Hey, Cheryl P., good morning. Kevin is saying boundaries must be maintained. Exactly. So at this point, do you think that the church is at fault somewhat because they didn't do the investigation back then when he first came up with it? They now have hired an attorney to do an overall investigation 40 some years later. Okay. But the man had already resigned. So to me, that's kind of a waste of money. Why do you need it now? Y'all could just close that chapter and keep going, so far as I'm concerned. If you didn't do nothing about it at the time and you let him back in the pulpit, that's my opinion. Pepper saying, Amen, Ms.V. Fortunately, I haven't either been involved with a church or pastor who has been through this, but I know of others who have. Yeah, it has happened. He's not the first, and like I say, he won't be the last. But it's such a scandal when they do it because you hold them in higher regards. You hold them with more respect than the average man. I do anyway. So it's just kind of like, I don't know, it's a hurtful thing. And especially when children are involved. You know, in the Catholic churches, it has happened to the little boys a lot. Okay. Which didn't come out until probably what, the late 80s, early 90s. This started happening. Well, it probably was happening before then. We don't know. But it started surfacing and hitting media stream then. So I don't care what religion it is or what nationality you may be. It doesn't seem to matter. It's the man in you that, and the worldly things of the world, that temptation, like in the Garden of Eden, is still there. So I guess that's like a generational curse too. And it's better not to know the way than to know it. Yep. I just think you'll be held more accountable. My stepdaughter revealed to me she was molested by a pastor in Hitchcock. Wait a minute, you getting close to home now, baby, Carolyn. And he is still pastoring there today. That's so sad. It really is. Because, first of all, that's a small, small town. And I'm sure more people know it. Because in little bitty cities, everybody talk. Everybody kin to everybody. Everybody went to school with everybody. And that's sad too. Hopefully she has outgrown it and moved on with her life. I have had subscribers over here who have talked to me about that. And both of them were able to move past it, but they still talk about it like it was yesterday. Mm-hmm. They don't forget it. It was too painful. One was by the father. That's very painful. You can't even trust your own daddy. Who the hell can you trust? Okay? Okay, love, you gotta go. Okay, I don't. Bye. Okay. Um, Rare is saying congratulations on your engagement. It's so and Cheryl P. Hey, Jersey girl, peace and blessings back right back at you. Miss Aretha's congratulating you, Jersey girl. Let's see. Kevin, back to the topic. The pastor is to be held responsible. I think so. That was my opinion, Kevin. That's how I felt about it. Yeah. Okay. This mess has been going on for years, Ms.V, with the boys and the girls. People just turn their heads. They do. But I don't see how they can do that. That's a child you carried 9 months and you birthed into the world. It is different if I don't know. I cannot hold myself responsible if I did not know it. I did not see it. She did not tell me. But that's not the case here. Okay, Miss Jean. Moving on. Pepper's saying, what? Yes, facts. And you go look it up for yourself. Okay? So this was something that I found to be interesting, and I wanted to bring it to y'all because I wanted to get your opinion on the inappropriate behavior and how long it had gone on from 1982 to 1987. How you felt about him just having an opportunity to just jump up and resign and he move on with his life with his wife. But yet this 12-year-old is now a grown woman out there and she's just not bringing it public. So imagine how many years she suffered with it, just holding it inside of her and not being able to step forth and say anything. And the money, the amount of money he made over that period of time and taking it to the church family and to the elders, but not telling the truth. Good morning, Chef. Good morning, Edwin. I blame the mothers just as much as the predator. It just looked like everybody's at fault to me, Raina. I look at the church congregation. That would be me sitting out there listening to him. He told you, but yet you still going along with it. The elders knew it. That's underneath him. They didn't do nothing. The parents didn't do nothing. And the child did all she could. I don't know. But anyway, y'all, I'm fixing to get up from here, go down and take Edward his gift to the post office. And I probably won't be back on today, not on my channel anyway. Like if somebody come on a music channel or whatever, it's Friday night, I'll be there. If that was my child, I would be going to jail, hell and jail. I think most parents with any kind of couth about them that was really trying to raise a child and take care of the child. Well, I don't care if it wasn't even your child. If you was just raising that child for somebody else, I just couldn't sit back and not do nothing, or not show the child that I'm on your side. I'm trying to protect you, and try to get that child spiritual and mental therapy. Let's see. The saddest part about it, Ms.V, was her grandmother played an important part. Oh, that is sad. In the scenario, she was sent this child with the men of the church for sexual Oh, God. Oh, that grandmama there, she is no good for real, for real. With the men of the church for sexual favors. And they ain't no good either. If they sit up there and played a part, the minister and the people of the church played a part in it, they all need to burn in hell. I think we need to examine the mothers that don't take accountability or responsibility for their child in this matter. I agree, Rita. I do agree. Jesus loves you. Thank you, Colleen. To the new people who are coming in, hit the like button and subscribe. Rena, you're welcome. Okay, that is it for me, y'all. I'm coming up on my hour anyway, and I'm glad y'all came in, participated in this, and it's awareness. This is more of an awareness story for you, for me, for all of our eyes to see. If you see something going on and you don't report it, I feel like you just as guilty as the person who did it, because that's a child. And you don't expect for them to behave. Hey, loving me, Tracy, good morning. And act as an adult should. But in this case, I felt like the child did what the child was supposed to do. He's hurting me, he's molested me. I'm telling you. And at that point, it should have been the mama to do something. Y'all have a good day, and I will see y'all probably tomorrow. Okay? In the meantime, hit the like button for me. Thanks to all the new members I got this week and subscribers. I really appreciate the donations. And thanks, and have a wonderful day. May God bless.